Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's continue the topic sexual reproduction. In my previous video, I told you about phases of life cycle, that is juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescence phase. I hope it is clear to all of you. Once again, in very short manner, juvenile phase means it is birth to maturity. Reproductive phase means body started to produce gametes and fusion of these gametes. Senescence phase means old phase. My today's topic is reproductive phase, which is again divided into three particular events. First is pre-fertilization, second is fertilization, third is post-fertilization. So today we are going to discuss on topic events in sexual reproduction, which is again pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. As we know, after attainment of maturity, all sexually reproducing organisms exhibit events and processes that have remarkable fundamental similarity. The events of sexual reproduction, though elaborate and complex, follow a regular sequences. So we have to read all these events in a particular manner. It is not like that ki first post-fertilization and then pre-fertilization. It is not like that. We have to read in a particular manner. So directly come to the topic, that is pre-fertilization event. Today I will cover this event, pre-fertilization event. Event taking place before the fusion of the gamete, that is called pre-fertilization event. That is all the event, all the process which is before fusion of the gamete, that is pre-fertilization event. It consists of two particular process or steps. Number 1, gametogenesis. Number 2, gamete transfer. Now, what is gametogenesis? As here it is written, gametogenesis is the process of formation of gametes, male and female gametes. That is called gametogenesis. Genesis means formation, gameto means gametes. Already we are knowing that gametes are haploid. In our previous class, cell division chapter was there, and all of you know that there are two types of cell division. One is mitosis, another is meiosis. So, haploid parents, they produce their gamete by mitosis, and diploid parents, they produce their gamete by meiosis. So, when the gametes are produced by the diploid parent or diploid cell, that particular cell which undergoes meiosis, that cell is called meiocyte. Very, very important. Meiocyte. Once again, in 1 mark, sometime it is asked in board question that what is meiocyte? Meiocyte means it is a cell which undergoes meiosis process. Now here you can see mitosis and meiosis. I think it is clear to all of you because already we have read about this. Mitosis, the number of chromosome, it is 46, and after division 2 daughter cell produce, and each daughter cell contain the same number of chromosome, 46 and 46. So 46 is the diploid number and each daughter cell again having the diploid number. So this is diploid, formation of the diploid cell. But we know that the gamete formation means number of chromosome would be half. So now let's see to the meiosis process. In meiosis, the parent cell, it is having 46 chromosome. It is diploid number of chromosome. And the process divided into two steps, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So the first one is meiosis 1 and second one is meiosis 2. So in meiosis 1, it is reductional division. Chromosome divides and each daughter cell receives half number of chromosome, that is 23 and 23. And the second meiosis, it is equational division. So each daughter cell receives again the same number, that is 23. So if we compare with the mother cell, that is myocyte, and the offspring, we can see that myocyte is having, or mother cell is having 46, that is diploid number, and the offspring or the daughter cells are having half number, so that is haploid. So diploid means the number of chromosome which is originally present in the mother cell and it is in pair. So that is diploid. Chromosomes are in pair. And haploid means when it is divided into two. So here it is written in the tabular form, that is the difference, diploid and haploid. So diploid in case of human, as diploid N is 23 chromosome and diploid number is 46 chromosome. So total number of chromosome is 46. And in case of haploid in human, N is 23 and haploid is always 23. So it is a half set of chromosome. And diploid means it is a double set of chromosome. And one very important thing, that is somatic cells are diploid. That means our body cells are diploid cells, and only sex cells, that is sperm or egg, that is haploid. That means only gametes are haploid in case of diploid organism. If the organism is having diploid body, each and every cell of the body is diploid except gamete. That means gamete formation is taking place by the meiosis process. So I think it is clear, the term haploid and diploid. So you will get the same topic in your book, that is cell division during gamete formation. And definitely meiocyte is very important. Now the next, that is sexuality in organism. Sexuality in organism means here you will get so many terms like monoecious, homothallic, dioecious, heterothallic. So here I try to show you these all, explain you these terms with the help of diagram. So first of all, monoecious and dioecious. What is the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? When we are talking about monoecious, that means you can see here in the diagram, when single plant bear two different flower. One is male flower and another is female flower. That means one plant bear two flower, one flower that is female and another flower that is male. You can see the sign of the anther, you can see the sign of the carpel. So such plants are called monoecious, single plant, two reproductive body in the different flower. And what is dioecious? Dioecious means where different plants having different reproductive part. That means one plant is completely male flower, bearing male flower, and another plant is completely bearing female flower. That is called dioecious. Here I think it is clear by this diagram, that is which one is dioecious. Now two terms, that is staminate and pistillate. So this one, that means staminate means the flower which contain only stamen, that is male flower, that is staminate. And pistillate flower means the flower which contain only female part, that is carpel. It is pistillate. That means female flower is pistillate flower and male is staminate flower. So another term also we can use for these flower which is having only one reproductive structure. If it is female part, then it is unisexual definitely. If it is only male part, then also it is unisexual. That means unisexual term we are using for flower, and monoecious term we are using for plant if the plant bears two different types of flower, male and female, in a separate branch. Another picture you can see, that is the flower having both male and female structure. So if single flower bears both male and female, bisexual flower. Now in the next page, next diagram, I will show you picture of various plants. So first one is Vallisneria. You will get the same picture in your second chapter. So the first picture is Vallisneria, where you can see that one plant bear female flower, another plant bear male flower. So this is dioecious. Then the second picture, it is maize plant. I think now you are getting whether the maize is monoecious or dioecious. If picture is not clear, then I would like to tell you that maize plant, the upper part, it is male inflorescence, and the lower you can see the female inflorescence. That means a single plant bears both male and female flower. So this is monoecious. Then next is cycas. In cycas also you can see two plant body. One is male plant and another is female plant. So this is again dioecious. And the third one, that is date palm. Here also written, one is male date palm, another is female date palm. That means date palm is also dioecious. Likewise, there are so many examples of monoecious plant like cucurbits, coconuts. These are monoecious plant. At the same time, date palm, here it is cycas, and papaya also, it is dioecious plant. So dioecious means two separate body, male and female plant, and monoecious means single plant bears two different flowers. Now the next, that it is about another picture which is given here. It is unicellular organism, that is cockroach. So we can see here in one picture it is showing that the cockroach body is having testes, and another picture it is showing that the cockroach body is having ovaries. That means two different bodies having different reproductive organs. So these kind of organisms are known as unisexual organisms. So that means animals, they are maybe unisexual or bisexual, hermaphrodite. Now the next diagram, that is of Chara. Chara, we can see male and female structure in single plant. So the male part, it is Anthidium, that is male sex organ, and female part Oogonium. So when plant bears both male and female reproductive organ in a separate body, that is called monoecious plant. So here it is an example of monoecious plant, Chara. Now the next is Mertensia. It is dioecious plant, because you can see that is actually we use the term heterothallic for this plant. Already in class 11 we have read about a group of plant, that is bryophytes. So bryophytes are having two different types of plant body structure. One is foliose type and another is thallus-like plant body. So here Mertensia comes under thallus-like plant body. So the main plant body is thallus, means it is attached with the substratum, and these thallus body bears two different reproductive organ. One thallus bear male reproductive organ and another thallus bear female reproductive organ. So it is heterothallic. So this is another term, that is heterothallic. And the last diagram, it is bisexual flower, which is quite clear to all of you. So here in this picture, the same picture is given in your book, I told you. So here in this picture we have read about hermaphrodite, that is dioecious earthworm, bears both the reproductive part, male and female reproductive part. Next one is unisexual, that is cockroach. Next it is Chara, which is monoecious plant, bears both male and female body in the same plant. Next one, Mertensia, it is heterothallic example, that means two thallus bears male and female, and the last one is bisexual. Then here I'd like to tell you one thing about the gametes. So gametes are of two types, isogamete and anisogamete. So first of all, isogametes. In some algae, the two gametes are so similar in appearance that it is not possible to categorize them into male and female gamete. They are hence called homogametes or isogametes. For example, Cladophora. This is example of isogamete. However, in a majority of sexually reproducing organisms, the gametes produced are of two morphologically distinct types. They are called heterogametes, means they are totally different from each other. In such organism, the male gamete is called anthrozoids or sperm, and the female gamete is called the egg or ovum. That means male gamete is anthrozoids and female gamete is egg or ovum. So this is all about gamete formation, and the process of gamete formation is called gametogenesis. Now the next picture, this is the page of your book. That means the same page is there in your book. Here you can see already we have covered this topic, event in sexual reproduction. So there we can see that is three events: pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. Then after I explain gametogenesis process, and then the last one is gamete transfer. The example which I have given you, that is the first one, it is Cladophora, it is isogamete. Second one is heterogamete, the example is Fucus, and the third one is again heterogamete, example is human being. So you can see in heterogamete, male gamete that is very small, in case of Fucus, and female gamete it is larger. The same way in human, male gamete it is motile and it is smaller than the female gamete. But in compared with the Cladophora, both the gametes are morphologically similar. So this is isogamete. Now today's last topic, that is gamete transfer. So gamete transfer. In other term we can say that is the pollination. All of you are knowing about the pollination process, because for fusion of the two gametes, definitely transfer of gamete is also required. So for transfer of gamete, there are so many different various means are there, like wind, like water, like animals, insect, birds. They are the agents for the transferring of this gametes from one flower to another flower, one plant to another plant. When we are talking about the lower plants like algae or like some bryophytes, they require sufficient water for their fertilization because their gametes are motile and for their movement they need water. So the lower organisms, they require water for their transferring of their gametes. On the other hand, when we are talking about the pteridophytes, gymnosperm or angiosperm, mostly they require wind. So wind is another agent for gamete transfer. So after gamete transfer, and I told you that transferring of the gametes from the male part to the female part, anther to stigma, is called pollination. After gamete transferring, there is a fertilization process, fusion of the gamete. So with this, our today's topic, it is completed till gamete transfer. Now next topic will be fertilization, various type of fertilization, external fertilization, internal fertilization and all.